introduce them. Dr. Mohapatra, and he's an attorney, a professor, a worldwide lecturer, and the way I had it put to me was second in command to Indira Gandhi. So I'm going to pass it over to him and he can introduce the other people. We're actually going to do an award ceremony for Joe and Solvig, and these people have come a long ways to do it. And please come forward and take the mic and
my greetings to all of you assembled here, and Minister Reverend Tim Anderson. I am here from India, representing all the members of Parliament in both lower house and upper house, to present an international award for understanding and peace to Mr. Joe Sholkin and Solvig Eskedahl. This was long overdue, as the Secretary General of the largest party of India and government, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, whose leader was Mrs. Indira Gandhi. I was in Nicaragua a few years back to meet Daniel Ortega. I met Daniel Ortega in New Delhi in the Conference of Non-Aligned Nations. And Mrs. Indira Gandhi has a strong fascination for this young president who fought a grim battle against imperialism, subversion, and whatnot. And there I met this couple, Mr. Sholkin and Eskedahl. I was there with a big proposal to bring medicine from India for the starving people of Nicaragua, for the children who were unfed, for the women who were unclad. And there I met them, and what a wonderful philanthropic attitude they had. And the discussion I had with them overwhelmed me, because in this world today, when we face war, we face turbulent episodes. Because I am a globetrotter, I have met Deng Xiaoping, I have met Brezhnev, I have met Mao Zedong, I have met all the presidents from Alfonsín to Menem in Argentina, Colombia, Bolivia, Venezuela, Margaret Thatcher, and President Bush and Clinton, everybody. I know these people in high places personally, their attitude, and the policy they follow. And India, as the leader of the third world, has experienced one after another this episode, how they wanted to undermine sovereignty of India during President Nixon's time. We have solidarity with fighting people of poor nations, of third world, who are trying to raise their heads. And in that domain, when I saw them, with an attitude to serve them with school, with hospitals, I felt a kindred soul with them. So here are two people I found. And reported back to Mrs. Gandhi, those two people are doing human job. I don't call them religious, I call them spiritual persons with this attitude of Catholicity. They went back to India, and we gave them reception, and they spoke elegantly in favor of toiling masses. India is an underdeveloped country, although I believe it is the 7th largest industrial country. Still we have 900 people, unfed, unclad, trying to raise their heads. Look at this economic liberalization, which is going to rob these third world countries of the riches. We are fighting against it. It is a unipolar politics, they say. I personally feel it's not unipolar. We, the people of the world, have to assert themselves, and nothing is stable. We have to make it unstable, this liberalization, economic liberalization. This Dunkel report, which has been signed by 134 countries, probably they have signed that warrant, not knowing what is that. As a professor, I told in the global conference, nobody has gone through Dunkel report. It is 600 volumes, 2,500 sub-volumes. Nobody has read it. They have just gone on the diktat of White House, World Bank, International Monetary Fund. And that is where India stands. That is where the toiling masses. Mr. Sholkin and Eskedahl gave brilliant lectures in India. They met all the leaders in India, gave India support. On the contrary, we supported them in their work in Nicaragua, in Africa, in India. They are helping our untouchables, our tribals, our poor people. So we thought these two persons should be recognized. That's why I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, traveling 10,000 square miles. And with me, we have Mr. Tulsidas Jadhav. He is not octogenarian, he is non-Nigerian, 92 years old, who was secretary to late Mahatma Gandhi 4 times. He has got recently, on the 13th of April, the highest peace prize at Oslo, next to Nobel Prize, International Peace Prize for Mahatma Gandhi, sharing with Gorbachev, National Mandela, and Jimmy Carter. He's a great personality. We couldn't have chosen a better person who has led his whole life on non-violence and peace on Gandhian lines in India, has been a minister, has been a parliamentarian, has been everything. Nothing is left in this world to give him. We said, come with us, because I was asked to come. And the real person who should have been here today to honor these two people is the former President of India, Gyani Jail Singh. He is the chief patron of this Parliamentarian Center for Peace. But he was ill last year and passed away on the Christmas Day last year, 25th of December. But before that, a month before that, he told me, Dr. Mahapatra, where are you going to United States to give this award? He put his signature. So I'm fulfilling that sacred task today to honor them. It's a little presentation, but it goes a long way to bring us together, to close collaboration among us. I have spoken in this church and I have considered today an honor. It is a radical place. People here are radical. When I heard Cuba from an eminent lady, Fidel Castro is my personal friend. I have met him 10 times in non-aligned movement and elsewhere. The last country of working class government, the country which speaks for oppressed people, for poor people, for fighting people, against imperialism, against domination, Fidel Castro. I've seen that country. It is good, really, we lend our support to it. I don't want to speak more. I'm here. You have given me the high honor to speak to you and address to you. And with me there is another venerable person, Swami Krishnadas, a philosopher and saint. We thought to make it little philosophical, little religious, and we thought you should come with us to this place of worship. Now, Mr. Minister, I will request now Mr. Joseph Sholkin and Solvig Eskedahl and Mr. Tulsidas Jadhav to come here. After the award, Mr. Jadhav will give his message. Give it the black back. Yeah, yeah. Catch it, please. Yeah. The former president has put in writing these words, presents the International Award for Understanding, Cooperation and Peace to Joseph Sholkin and Solvik Eskedahl, Boston, USA, for their voluntary and humanitarian work world over. Signed, Yani Jail Singh, former President of India, Tulsidas Yadav, President, and myself as Secretary General. This is a replica wherein we have the Hindu goddess and all the stars that govern us, like Jupiter, like Saturn, like Venus, like Mars, all. And we thought it best to give it to such an eminent lady.
Solvik and I felt very uncomfortable received, although candy, that's terrible. Solvik and I felt very uncomfortable receiving this award, and we have tried to avoid it for several years. But when we learned that the president had died, we felt that it would be a dishonor to his memory if we didn't accept this award that he wanted to present to us in person and sent his emissaries to do it for us. I don't know, I'm not going to give you the usual pat about not deserving it. No. Probably secretly I feel we deserve that and more. But however, I did want to say one thing. I was glad that in addition to this award to both Solvik and myself, there was a special award given to Solvik for her work with International Helping Hands. Most of you know that our primary focus is on Nicaragua, but we also serve causes throughout the world, particularly in India. And so we want to thank you for showing up at your tender age, and Mama Patra here for coming here. We appreciate your efforts and the honor you have given us, and we hope we'll be worthy of it. With that, I turn you over to Solvik.
Well, I also want to thank you again. I do feel very honored, and I really do feel undeserving, honestly. Especially from such distinguished people who have spent their whole life in the search for justice and for human understanding. So many years in prisons, you know, with going through some terrible things. I also feel being here in community church, which I know that so many of my friends have spent their whole life, you know, searching for justice and human understanding. And I just want to thank you for being here and giving this to me, and I hope I can live up to deserve it. Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, I became very happy to see such a happy and holy gathering here. Though I have seen throughout the world from 1921 to up till now, so many churches, so many temples, and other people also. But I became very happy to see today you have come here for this function. As these two persons, eminent persons and very religious-minded persons are these two persons, Mr. Joshi and Mrs. Joshi. They have done very nice work, very excellent work to serve the poor people. As I have gone through the Bible, Quran, Hindu scriptures, Gita, and everything. The main content of these religious books as scriptures is, as it is said by Jesus, love is God and God is love. If we want to love to any person or child, we fulfill his desires, at least minimum. And that is told in everywhere. And these two persons have done a service as it is told by my colleague, Mahapatraj. As I have gone through all these scriptures and I was with Mahatma Gandhi, Sabarmati Ashram, Sevagram Ashram, until his death, I was with him. What he told us, God is in everywhere. He said when he was serving the India through the service of the pure people, and he wanted to have the society without any hatred and without any quarrelsome hate. He said, I recognize no God except the God that is to be found in the hearts of the dumb mediums. I worship the God that is truth through the service of these mediums. What these people, two persons have done. Another thing he wanted to have in the world, Gandhi sought to prepare us for a life in disarmed world. We must pull out of the world of strife and hatred and get ready to work on the basis of cooperation and harmony. Satyagraha is his substitute for war and is based on an absolute truth and non-violence. This is, he taught to us and through India to the world. I am not taking your much more time. My friend Mahapatraj has expressed everything. I request you also to have some share for the poor people at any time, anywhere. You might have seen yesterday there is violence and massacre everywhere now that's going on. I take 1-2 minutes more. Since the inception of the world, the differences of opinion are solved by violence. But Mahatma Gandhi has tried to solve the problem of independence of India through the non-violence. Out of 30-40 crores of people, only 4 to 5 lakhs were in jail and some of them were hanged. I was in them, but I was sentenced for 10 years rigorous imprisonment and fined ₹3,000. For that fine, my land and house were auctioned. So Gandhi has shown a new way. He told us that there is no right to any person to kill another person for the difference of opinion. And it is told by Jesus, the sacrifice in the world is the highest done by Jesus Christ. Like that, Mahatma Gandhi and other saints have done that. Only we came here, such thing is done by these two persons. They are very religious minded, because I came here and stay with them for twice. I have seen all their home library is full of religious mind, spiritual thinking. I pray to God that these two persons should be long life. From my life, 10 years I am giving them, so that they will live for a long time. That is my request to you. We have called here, and these people and you also came here. For that, I thank you by the Parliamentarian Center for Peace of World International.
We have an operational difficulty. We have too many people who